Hello everybody, I just want to do this quick tutorial on how to make yogurt using the Instant Pot. I start out with good high quality milk. I like 2%, but whole milk actually works really good too. You can use 1% as well, whatever dietary requirements that you're trying to meet. I use just plain Greek yogurt or just plain yogurt for the starter. It's a lot cheaper and it works great. I use about 2 ounces of it. It's probably about 6 tablespoons. Have a thermometer. And I also like to add 1 pack of the instant non-fat dry milk. It just gives it more body and good flavor. I use 1 whole envelope, which is about, it says 3¼ cups of dry milk. I get the Kroger brand. It comes in a box with probably like 6 or 8 envelopes. You want to have a whisk ready. From here, I'm going to put the Instant Pot, put the pot into the Instant Pot, and then I'm going to boil it. So just hold on for 1 second. I only have one hand here. Boiling it sterilizes the pot, sterilizes the milk. I boil it twice. I'll boil it once, let it the timer go off, and then I'll whisk in the dry milk and boil it again. So let me show you for people that are new to the Instant Pot. Put your lid on. I keep it open to vent. You could even take it off. You could even take this off if you want, but I just leave it open. Okay, and then what you're going to do from the off position is just push yogurt, and it's going to default to your last setting, which I let it incubate for 9 hours, and then from here you're going to hit yogurt again. Whoops, I wasn't quick enough. Let's start over. Okay, yogurt, hit it again. It's going to go to boil. Or wait, it should. Hold on. Nope, I'm wrong. Adjust. Oh, darn it. Yogurt, adjust, and there's your boil. So from the off position, you hit yogurt and then adjust, and it will take you to your boil. The first boil takes a little longer because it has to come up to temperature. And when it's done, it will beep, and then it will go back to the yogurt mode. So let's just let it boil, and then I'll show you. Okay, this is what it looks like when it's all finished. It goes to the yolked screen, and then what you do is you just come over, hit yogurt again, go to boil, remove the lid, and then at that point I whisk in my powdered milk. And I also wanted to mention I really like Darigold, but it's hard to find in my area. There's a few stores that sell it. The next option is to get organic milk just in the supermarket, because the expiration date is longer, and then your yogurt will last longer. Now, depending on the size of your Instant Pot, you can also do a whole gallon in there. You would just double your starter and double your dry milk. You don't have to use instant non-fat dry milk, but it does help with the whey production, and so it's not so runny. I've had really good luck with it, so I think it's really worth trying it. So I'm going to go ahead and just whisk that in, put the lid back on, and let it continue to boil. and then we'll do the next step. Okay, the second boil is done, and there we go. It's set to yolk again. That's what it defaults to once the boil is complete. I'm just going to go ahead and turn it off. And then I'm going to take the Instant Pot liner out. That's what it looks like after whisking the milk in. And I'm going to take this part of the pot and put it in the sink filled with cold water. Otherwise it takes too long to bring it down to temperature. We want it to come down to 110 degrees. It takes approximately 5 minutes if your sink is pretty full of cold water. You need to keep an eye on it with a digital thermometer. And at that point I'm going to whisk in the starter and put it back to incubate for 9 hours. I'll show you the next step. I'm just going to go ahead and put it in the sink filled with cold water for now, and I'll keep an eye on it. Okay, as you can see, I've got it sitting in my sink of cold water. Of course, the fuller you have your sink of water, the sooner it's going to cool down. I think I have it up to about the 8-quart line filled with water. You can see it on the outside of the pot. But I'll keep a really close eye on it. I'll stir it a couple times. That helps cool it down. A lot of people say the faster it cools down, the better yogurt you get. And also a little tidbit of information. The longer you incubate your yogurt, the more tart it's going to be. I like it a little bit tart, but not overly tart. And I have found 9 hours for me works really good. I also like to let my starter warm up a little bit. I take my milk and my yogurt starter out of the fridge, I'll say 40 minutes or so before I start working with it, just to kind of warm it up to room temperature a little bit. You don't want your yogurt too cold. And also, any thermometer will work. If you have a candy thermometer, that works fine too. I found this little digital one, I think at Walmart, for like $8. It works great. It's been fairly accurate. I've compared it to other thermometers. Again, you want it to cool down to about 110 degrees. And also another note, when you remove the Instant Pot, make sure you dry the outside of it off with a towel before you put it back into there. You don't want it all wet. And put your Instant Pot in an area where it will not be disturbed or moved during the incubation period. Okay, I'll show you how to set it once it's ready to go. Okay, it took about 4 minutes to get it down to 108 to 110 degrees, and that's fine. If you get distracted and check it and it's like 95 degrees, that's way too cool. Just put it back in and hit boil and keep an eye on it and let it get up to the temperature you need. And then if it gets a little too hot again, put it back in the sink. So just kind of keep an eye on it. So it's in the pot, it's ready to go. And what you're going to do is hit yogurt. And then, like I said, it defaults back to the previous setting. We do not want to boil it. So we are going to click adjust. And it defaults to 24 after you have used the boil part. And it's on, you want it on less. Okay, I missed it. So I need to go back. Got to work kind of fast. Yogurt, adjust. Yogurt, adjust. And actually it's on normal. I'm sorry, not less. Now I'm going to increase it to 9 hours. Oops. Okay, and then it'll just start counting down from there. And once it's done, I'll show you what I do to get a really nice thick Greek yogurt. See, now it's going to start counting. Okay, the yogurt has finished incubating for 9 hours. I wanted to show you the Greek yogurt strainer that I use and I love. I've tried a couple different ones. I'll post a link below if you're interested in it. It has a lid, which is really nice. And from here, I'll spoon it in and then put it in the fridge for overnight. You can leave it in the fridge as long as you like. The longer you leave it, the thicker it will get. I'll show you. See how nice and thick that turned out. The whey will be on the bottom. You can kind of see a little bit of the juice in there. Not much, it's pretty thick. So I'm just going to spoon this in, let it drain overnight, and then I will show you the outcome in the morning. Okay, this is what it looks like after the yogurt's been sitting for about 10, 11 hours. So you can see it's pretty dry compared to how we started. And there's all the whey in the bottom. And then I have found too, once you put it into your container, I like to whisk it all up. It just makes it real nice and smooth like the store-bought yogurt. But you don't have to do that step. And then if it's a little too dry, you can always add some of the whey back to it if you like a more moist yogurt. And the whey, they say, is good to bake with. Use it for smoothies. I actually put a little bit in my dog's homemade dog food. And I have used it in smoothies. I don't really care to bake with it because of the flavor. But you can just put your plate over the top and then flip it over, spoon it out. I do recommend hand washing this little strainer. I would never put this in the dishwasher if you want it to last. Anyway, I hope this video has been helpful, and if so, please give us your thumbs up. Have a great weekend. There's a shot of it once I took it out of the strainer.
Huh?